Okay, this morning is 9/11, and what I want to say is I want to uh, kind of like have remorse for the situation, the families of the people that died during the 9/11 tragedy. I just want to say that you, um, I mean it's real difficult for me to get my thoughts together right now because of what's on my mind. But the people that died in 9/11, the families, I'm sorry that y'all lost the people that y'all lost. I'm sorry for all the people that died during that day. All the people that was sacrificed during that day. Um, I apologize, man. I'm sorry. I mean, it was very tragic. It's like 11:20 Eastern time right now. I mean, it's a big day for all of us. This day changed a lot of our lives about 20 years ago. With technology, everything changed after the accident. After I would say the accident, after the attack at the Twin Towers. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off into it's sort of, how can I say, classified but not classified. What I'm going to tell you guys, I served in the military during 9/11, and I was at home in Missouri during the time of the attack. Now, I seen the aircraft hit the building on TV. I was watching it on live TV. I seen the aircraft hit the building. What I'm trying to say is, first of all, at that time, the technology that we had, I mean, how can you get an airplane to move at that speed to hit them buildings? The speed, the information flight rules, everything that occurred that day was not right. Now, they're trying to say it was hijackers on the aircraft. Now, through my own investigations, I'm supposed to sit here and believe that these hijackers took over this aircraft. I mean, that's what they want me to believe. You know, they want all of us to believe. I believe this. I'm gonna get right to the point. I believe this. I believe that onboard computer was hacked on those aircrafts. They were hacked and they were taken over. They were being controlled, remotely controlled by an unknown entity. And those aircraft were driven. Here, you want to hit this? Those aircraft, just save me some too. Well, you got your own? Oh, okay, you should say something. Those aircraft were remotely controlled by an unknown entity. No terrorist in the world is going to drive themselves into a fucking building at that time. Maybe these days, because they're so desperate now for attention and stuff. But 20 years ago, no. No. Ain't no terrorist. Just think, use your head. If you was a terrorist, would you fly a plane into a building? Would you get on the airplane and fly the plane into a building? Just think, humans, these humans we talking about. Wasn't no hijackers. The onboard computer was hijacked. And that's what the stewardess and everybody was telling the people that was on the plane. That the onboard computer was hijacked. They lost total control of the aircraft. Now they got these little comm kits they call information flight rules that every plane flies under. Every plane has to fly on these information flight rules. They have an exact route, time, everything where the aircraft needs to go. Now, the mystery with Flight 93 is the fact that they crashed the onboard computer and tried to take control of the airplane manually after they crashed the onboard computer, and that's what made the plane crash in Pennsylvania. It was hacked remotely. Now, I don't know why common sense ain't kicked in over 20 years that the planes were remotely hacked. I mean, come on now. I got common sense. I was hanging out, on my base at that time. I was still hanging out near my base and stuff. I've dealt with information flight rules and communication kits and stuff like that. That's what I used to do. I can't tell you the exact aircraft, though. It was numerous aircraft I've done information flight rules for. Numerous top secret aircraft, actually. What I'm trying to tell you people is it's an unknown threat. Reason why we got 9/11. It's an unknown threat. It's a threat you can't see. Or it's a threat that y'all don't want to see. I mean, how can I just throw this at y'all simply to let you know that those airplanes were hacked? They started a war with the Taliban and Afghanistan and Iraq and all that crap. Them people ain't had nothing to do with it. Them people had nothing to do with it at all. Now, remember my last video, I shouldn't have deleted it, but it's true. They got them SpaceX flights ready for people. What, you got $1 million? You gonna fly to another planet to get away from all this? That's what I said in my last video. I shouldn't have deleted it. I'm keeping this one on here. I'm not deleting this one because today is 9/11. It's been 20 years since this stuff went down. 20 years, man. And we still ain't got the answers. We blaming this person, blaming that person. No, it was an unknown threat. I know it was an unknown threat. So how can you describe the unknown threat? Well, somebody was sitting somewhere and they had remotely controlled those aircraft and they took control of all 3 of the aircraft. They already had control of the aircraft before the aircraft left the ground, left from the airports. That's why the Air Force wasn't able to scramble in time to stop the airplanes from hitting the Twin Towers. I mean, what can you expect? Like I said, there's no resolution to stupidity. Once you get a whole bunch of people together, it's like a disease. It's like the coronavirus. Stupidity spreads. And we've been putting out this stupid stuff for 20 years telling people that it was hijackers on them airplanes. Come on now. Like I said, if I was a terrorist, I wouldn't fly the airplane to no damn building. You'll hold the people for ransom and get their money just like in the movies. Ain't nobody flying no airplanes to no building. The suicide bombers that's different. The suicide bomber still got a chance to survive even if you got the bomb tied to him. No, that's different than you gonna take the airplane and fly the airplane to a building with a bunch of people. Come on now. Come on now. They want to make you think it was suicidals. The security was tight that day. No way you could have the hijackers get on that plane. in New York City, tight as the security was back then. I'm pretty sure they had tight security back then too. They check the bags, check your ID, stuff like that. There's no way you can make me believe that it was hijackers on them aircraft. That's why when the first plane hit the first building, they was questioning the speed of the object, the speed of the object. I mean, I don't have the exact miles on the speed, but I know the speed of the first aircraft was off the charts, from what I heard. And whoever took control of that aircraft took that airplane up to that speed to make sure they caused enough damage. It's evidence everywhere. There's more to it than that. Y'all won't believe what they did afterwards. What was going on afterwards? While the people were jumping out of the buildings and stuff, y'all won't believe what actually was going on. You know? You just gotta sit here and think. We're not the only ones. There's other entities that's out here that's a threat to our existence. You just have to believe it. You have to believe, you know. They got this new variant and everything out here now. Yeah, right. It just look like to me the closer we get to the asteroid, the more people get sick. Just like in the days of Egypt, the plague of Egypt, yeah, that was that asteroid making everybody sick. And what it is, with the 9/11 thing, the attack took place the same day as the asteroid orbited our solar system. The same exact day, the asteroid finally orbited our solar system. We have the 9/11 attack on the same exact day. His orbit was close to Mars at that time. Well, getting close to Mars. And then we have 9/11 attack. It's all in our face. The evidence all in our face. We just got to be able to put the pieces together and take the information that we have and use that. I mean, there's no way else I can explain this. I ain't even got to write this stuff down to have common sense to know that somebody took over them onboard computers. And I don't know why ain't nobody on social media or YouTube or anything ever admitted to that them onboard computers were taken over. You know? I'm just here to let you people know that we are being threatened by unknown entity that want to take us out. This is the name of this game. They want to take us out, get rid of the human race. The human race is at stake right now as I'm speaking. The only positive trade-off with this is the fact that you need to know what's coming. We ain't got that much time left. They got all these 9/11 memorials up today and stuff, and 9/11 this and 9/11 that. I mean, mean, it really gets to me. You know, all those people were murdered and slaughtered that day. That's why I call it a slaughter. That was the apocalypse. That was the moment we was looking for 20 years ago. How you know it was an onboard computer hack? Because the president was sitting in the school. He didn't even know what was going on. He get the intelligence reports every day. George Bush sitting there in that class. He was surprised. He didn't even know what was going on. He didn't even know what was going on. Nobody did. Because it was a remote hit. It was remotely hit. They infiltrated information flight routes somehow in those aircraft. And they knew the flight patterns. And they knew where the flights were heading. They infiltrated information flight rules. The information flight rules were compromised that day. Now, you can ask any type of air traffic controller or pilot about information flight rules, and they'll tell you that they have to fly by those information flight rules. That's in those instructions when the comm person gives them the kit. They get a comm kit on every aircraft. I don't care if it's military. I don't care if it's civilian aircraft. They all have those information flight rules that they're supposed to follow. Go investigate that. That's how investigate the information flight rules for those aircraft that day. You'll find out that the aircraft were remotely controlled by unknown entity. Now y'all wonder who was it? Was it Russia? Was it this person, that person? Common sense tell you who did it. I'm ready to say who did it, but I'm not gonna say who did it. I know who did it, and the common sense tell you who did it. And with those type of people, you can't take the court or nothing or anything like that. It's all out war. This a war. It's a futuristic war we get to head into. Just note that there's people like me that know better and preparing. I mean, their whole thing is to crash society so they can come back and take over. I mean, just use common sense. I mean, any other building they could have used, they used the trade towers. They want to crash society. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm just shocked that we still living these lies that there were hijackers on the airplane. I'm just shocked that we still putting this story out to people, man. That's not what actually occurred.